So earlier this year, I had the great opportunity to go to Jamaica. Beautiful place. And I had a chance to perform. Watch. I am aware now that my choice of attire, which as a team we thought was going to be fine, being outside in the weather, was going to be something that would not come across as disrespectful. And since I've spent most of my career dancing and moving around and jumping on stage, that I didn't know that I would ever do anything that would ever offend anyone in any community, but it did. And because it did, I sincerely apologize. I sincerely apologize because I never want to get to a place that I can't learn what I need to do better, what I can do different to make sure that as I grow as a man, grow physically or in any aspect, that I'm always being humble enough and submissive enough to hear people and their concerns about anything being bigger than the message of Jesus. Because it doesn't matter what my goal and intent is, if I'm louder than the message of Jesus, then I failed. All right, so I'm gonna say something, and I'm gonna keep this real, and I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all. Sometimes I just play too much. Sometimes I just be doing too much. People really, really, really don't believe that my heart for the Lord is sincere. That's the one that breaks me. Yeah. Like, you know, like when people don't really think that it's like I ride or die with Jesus just because I don't necessarily fit. You know, maybe because I play too much, I joke too much, I have fun too much.
Music isn't as traditional as they would like it
whatever,
to be.
church too tight, whatever it may be. You know?
LC love JC.
Yeah, there
Right.
it is.
Oh my God, that's nasty.
That's nasty.
But that's
Little
the
one.
thing.
That gets you every time.
That's the thing,
You
it
have
just-
to respond to that.
It just breaks me.
Yeah.
It breaks me when people don't believe that there's a real, sincere love there.
You got a little heart.
Yeah.
For your little shirt. Little cheeks.
All right, what do you think about what Kirk said?
I can respect the man that see the error of his ways and come out and apologize. Yeah,
Them Jamaicans put the hurt on them, boy. We don't
Yeah.
play. Jamaica don't play about that kind of nonsense.
Yeah, I definitely. But yeah, I could respect the man who came out and apologized. He saw the error of his ways, like he said. He don't want to be somebody who's prideful and arrogant, who doesn't want to be teachable. You always learning, you always growing. So I can respect it. And I can understand too, like having that heart for God, and then you hear a bunch of people just saying that, oh man, he not safe, he not this and that, because he's made a number of mistakes in the public eye. But this man has been on the platform since I was a child, you know what I'm saying? And I ain't no spring chicken, you know what I'm saying? So he been around for a while. So it's like when your whole life is in the public eye like that, like I always say, you got a platform, they usually gonna see the good, the bad, and the ugly of your life. Like when he had an issue with his child, when he went in, like most parents probably would have in that situation, it leaked out because the child leaked it out. He came back, he apologized for that. So I don't see a problem with it. I think it was commendable. He could have been like, man, bump that stuff. I love the Lord. I don't care what y'all say. But the fact he cares enough about the people who's looking, who support his ministry, to come out and say, hey, I apologize, I respect it.
I would just say to him, I don't know him. So I can't give him advice. But I would just say, like, what I would do is if I notice that I keep having these issues, I grind on people while I'm singing gospel songs. I wear tight clothes all the time. I have to make excuse for certain things. I would say, let me make sure that I'm not believing something wrong. Because I obviously thought it was okay at the time. Why? Why did I think it was okay to grind on the lady while I'm singing a gospel song? There's something there.
Because he played too much.
Yeah,
That's what he's saying.
But what that said to me is, it's okay when you're in the green room. It's not okay when you're on stage. Maybe it's not okay in the green room. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's the danger, man. I think the danger is when you're on these platforms and you're in front of these people, men are not designed for worship. So when people have been praising what you do for so long, it probably started off a little two-step. Then he started doing a little bit too much, you know what I'm saying? Then it turned into full gyration, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe
Twerking to Jose.
yeah. So the more people let stuff slide, the more you start getting loose and feel. And then you got the people cheering you on out in the crowd. Pride and ego and all those things start coming into play. 'Cause like I said, men not designed for worship. So now you start feeling like whatever you do is okay because people know I love the Lord. Yeah. And you act like, and at that point, it's like you're not really checking with the spirit. You kind of just going off the momentum of the praise of the people.
Go ahead, bro. You got this.
All that. I'm just saying, like, I agree with his apology. I think he understands that maybe gyrating too much was too much. You know what I mean? I've seen Kirk Franklin in concert a couple times. That's just what he does. Like it's almost like he's the maestro of the band, and he's just enjoying what he does. I mean, I get the whole just twerking on people. That's wrong. I get
That's
that.
what we're talking about.
Yeah. But I mean, I think I'm going to what his apology is, where he's talking about dancing, and like some people don't like him dancing.
Well, it's because it's so tight.
Somebody said that applies.
He's
been
very proud of his workout.
Yeah.
He changed. He crafted his body, and I think he's proud.
But
of it.
I've seen him dancing in the 90s though.
Yeah, but when you're skinny and scrawny, nobody cares. But when you work on yourself and it goes for men and women, then it's like, oh wait, now you're showing off. You know what I'm saying?
It makes you uncomfortable.
It's a fine line, man. Because I mean, like you said, look, David danced before the Lord, right? So that's clear. So as far as like I don't want to get. Let me say this: if you're thrusting, you know what I mean. Like
that's where I draw the line.
If well, that's just an example. I might draw it other places as well.
The word
but
thrust come up, you're doing too much.
any kind of motion that is suggesting, you know what I mean, like a sex act or like something that's not right.
You can't do that while you're
that's where I draw the line. But like just like dancing or moving energetically. Like, I don't want to be legalistic either because we all have, like, look, as an artist, bro, like, I feel the judgment, like, for real. Like, sometimes it's hard, especially in a Christian space, to just get up and just, let loose. Like,
everything is wrong.
Everything is wrong. Everything is sinful. We pathologize everything. Where it's like, what if bro genuinely loves art? Because Psalm 139, he's fearfully and wonderfully made. So what if God crafted him to love music and to love expressing it? And he goes up there and he dances, but none of his movements are suggestive or sinful. Like, he's not trying to portray a sinful act. He's just letting loose. So like I said, I think that's totally cool. And Psalm 139, like, it's cool for us to have our own personalities, fearfully and wonderfully made. And it's cool for artists to do them. But like where I draw the line is like when you start like portraying like sinful acts and stuff like that, that's when, or when it becomes a distraction, or when you make like your movement the main thing and it's just hype, that's when, like you said, just, you got to check your heart. And look, that's not unique to him. I think we all have to do that. You know what I'm saying? We all have to do that.
It was like, I took the focus off of Jesus. That's why I said, I respect it, because there's a difference between dancing for the Lord and dancing for the people.
Right,
like
right.
If you giving honor to God and praise and stuff like that, they're different. Like, but you're not gonna be twerking and gyrating in Jesus' name. You know what I'm saying? You dancing for the Lord. But if it's a lady over here, you might give her a little. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the difference.
I think in this situation.
So Jasmine Johnson says, if he were a woman doing this, the gray area would disappear.
No, I don't. There is no gray area.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mrs. Johnson or Miss Johnson. What I was gonna say is, if you're an artist, you need to actually conduct yourself. First of all, Kirk Franklin's married, so me personally being a married man, I don't see myself going to gyrate and twerk on no woman, especially if it's not my woman. I don't even twerk, so that's one. Two. But really is
first and foremost.
Yeah, first and foremost, and it's really checking. Like, Lord, am I doing this for you? I know I be getting caught up sometimes. I'm having a good time when I'm in the spirit, but it don't cause me to go and do something that distracts from the fact that I'm praising and I'm worshiping our God. Now, you know, before you get up on stage, if you start sweating, that attire is gonna look totally different by the end of it. So you got to make sure that it's not just a presentation of yourself before man, but also, God, how are you gonna look at this when I get up here and do this?
But okay, so this is what the problem I've always had about this situation with Kirk. Kirk's been getting this backlash, like you said, since the 90s. It kind of started with Stomp, right? Yeah. When you watch the Stomp video, they in there getting it, right? We have to define what is worldliness, because we're quick to say, yo, that's worldly. when somebody's just doing a dance step.
Well, I mean, throwing it back on.
Of course, we know that.
Okay.
But I'm just talking about he was getting before people when twerking was just in a strip club and that's the only place it was. When he was doing regular dance steps, like I said, on Stomp, people were saying that was too worldly.
So at that time, that stuff was kind of taboo in the church. Like you weren't. Some churches you couldn't even play drums in some churches at that point. So he was already cutting edge with the samples and all the rest of that stuff. See, it's the difference between that than what he's doing. I think part of his problem now is, for one, it's good you're working out, you're in shape. You're not wearing modest apparel. We get on women about wearing modest apparel. You're not wearing modest apparel.
Yeah, he do have a lot of suits open.
You're not wearing
like he in Miami Vice back.
It's hot in Jamaica.
Keep it conservative, dog. Like you married. Like leave that to be desirable to your wife. Like that's
so
what
when you got immoral apparel on top of immoral dancing,
come on now,
you're gonna get criticism.
I just think it's just a sign. Just take it as a symptom of something that may be brewing that needs to be snipped.
Yeah.
Because people aren't making this up, Kirk. Like we're seeing stuff that's strange, So I would just take it as okay, let me throw away the bones and eat the meat here. Like maybe they're seeing something that is not right. I need to go check my heart, God. Make a clean heart in me, oh God. If there's anything in there that's not right, if I'm deceiving myself, I'm around people who need me. So they may be not telling me the truth.
Somebody said,
let me take in what I need to take in.
Somebody said pelvic thrust are worldly. I should not leave your concert pregnant.
I mean, look, to your point, man, like if it's a pattern, like if you're up there and you're moving in such a way that, your movement's suggestive and stuff like that, like that's clearly not right. At the same time, though, I do want to say, like, look, law and gospel, like in the sense of, like, if bro is just dancing, you know what I mean? But, like, he's just enjoying his music. He's enjoying his art. He's not doing anything with anyone else. He's not, like, his movement is not suggestive or sinful. Like, he's not in any way imitating an act that's not right. Like, I think it's cool to just let him be an artist. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's one thing to, like, be discerning, right? Which I think we all should do that. We all should check our hearts, because I know I have logs in my eyes. I might look at him and be like, bro, you got to spec. But I think it's one thing to be discerning and be careful about who we listen to and stuff like that. It's another thing to have like a haughty spirit, where it's like the first point of contact I have with someone in front of me is, yo, what are you doing wrong? You know what I mean? Like, what do you need to change about you? Like, first of all, let's turn that around. I'm my biggest problem. Like, I need to look at myself first every day, and I need to get on my face and say, Lord, lead me not into temptation, deliver me from evil. Like, let's start there. Let's let that be our spirit. And then I think that, it's everything else we can do better with
and just remember, Kirk, again, like you said, Kirk has been doing this for several years. So if this is your brother in Christ, there's some challenges, and we have like a 0.0001% experience with this, but there are challenges when you are this public person that does this as a job year after year after year after year. There's some temptations and some pitfalls that you run into that the average person doesn't have to deal with. So I would say first pray for him, because I believe he's sincere when he says it bothers me that people don't believe. So if there's blind spots in his life and he's not noticing that there's something wrong, and you notice it, I think the first effort should be pray, because if he doesn't see it, like, I don't think you guys understand, like, the level he's at, the eyes he has on him. If everybody watched you every second of the day and was like, you shouldn't have done that, you shouldn't have said that this way, you shouldn't have done this, it would break you down. You would feel powerless. So
he's one of the biggest gospel artists in the world. Like, in our space, he's the biggest.
And that's what I'm hearing from him. I'm hearing, Jesus says, come to me all who you are weary and heavy laden, right? So to your point, yes, like, I think, 99.999% of people can't relate to what it's like to have your life constantly under the microscope. So I want to recognize, look, bro is a public figure, but he's also a sinner in need of the gospel. So if there's a pattern like this, hopefully he's in a healthy church where guys love him, independently of him being Kirk Franklin, the artist. They just love him, like, for who he is, and they could sit down and have these conversations with him, and in the context of community. You know what I mean?
Increase GFR says, if you are dancing because of the song, then it's worldly. Keep that at the club.
If you're dancing because of the song?
If you're dancing, I'm just reading what the person said. If you're dancing because of the song, then that is worldly. Keep that at the club. So that means so that means in church, we just need to clap our hands, we need to do our shout dance, and that's it.
No, I just don't even understand. What do you mean? Like,
because it said I don't know if this is a woman or a man, but it's the person is saying, if you are dancing because of the song, then that is worldly.
No. Okay, I see it now. If you are dancing because of the song, then that is worldly.
that is worldly.
Keep that at the club. So I think they mean if the song is worldly and you're dancing to it, then
No, we get that. We're not talking about like if somebody. I mean, somebody did do swag surfing at their church, and people was like, "Yo, that's worldly." I get that.
He was singing gospel music, twerking.
Right, so
Somebody said he wasn't twerking.
Yeah, but if he's listening to praise by elevation, and he's just like, jump, man, praise the Lord. Like, you know what I mean? Like, let every breath that has, every breath that has breath, praise it. Like, if he's just jumping and just like, I'm feeling this, like, Lord, I love this, I love you, thank you. Like, nah, that's not worldly.
That
like,
ain't
David
worldly.
did that, bro. Like, I'll become even more undignified than this. Like, in the sense of, I'm gonna let loose before my God, man.
Yeah, I would just say there's grace and instruction here. Yes. Pray for him. It's really hard doing what he's doing. Also, that's why this role of being in front of people, responsible for so many people's lives, is a hard one.
Yeah,
it's
it
a
is.
lot of responsibility because if he is leading people astray in any kind of way, no matter how hard it is, it's going to be, God doesn't like that, right? So you have a responsibility, Kirk, and I think he realizes that even though it is difficult, even though people don't understand what I have to go through, it is still a huge responsibility to say you are now a minister of the gospel and you're speaking out in front of other people. There is a higher standard for you because if you communicate to somebody that it is okay to, like what we said about the young man at the beginning, do whatever you want as long as you say you're a Christian, that is also dangerous. So I don't think he's doing that, but those are the parameters. You don't go too far this way, don't go too far that way.
I think also too. I always give Kirk a pass because there wasn't nobody before him to show him how to do this. And I think that's another thing. When you're a trailblazer, like, okay, prime example, if you were the first one to be like, I was the first Christian trap rapper, right? Whatever you did, other people are following. You know how many people, like, he's the blueprint for contemporary gospel.
You learning on the fly.
You're learning on the fly. Right. So, I'm not making an excuse for him. I'm just saying sometimes when you're the first, it's hard. It's easy to be the second, third, fourth, fifth, because you can look at him and be like, okay, he did that, I can't do that. He did that, I can't do that. But when you are, because he was very progressive, you got to be honest. He brought the hip hop generation to gospel music, in a strong numbers. I remember somebody saying it was a documentary about him, and somebody was like, the same kid, I don't know if this is a good or bad thing, the same kid that will go to a 50 Cent concert will go to a Kirk Franklin concert. So I'm just saying, I think the matter of fact of him learning, and now, I mean, he's old enough to know better, so I'm not excusing him, but I'm just saying, thinking back from back in the 90s, he was the first of his kind to incorporate different things that was groundbreaking.
It's one thing I think about, though. One time, we watched the video on here, and he was saying he don't want the crowd to forget about him. He don't ever want to be forgotten. So what my hope is, I don't know the heart of man, so I'm hoping that the thrusts are not an attempt for people not to forget about you. I'm hoping that this is, like you said, legitimately you didn't understand that this was wrong. And I don't know your heart, but I'm hoping that you're not up doing different antics and different things to try to stay relevant in the eyes of the people. Because if you're doing that, then we got a whole different conversation.
Exactly.
I mean, I think people in the crowd saying, people in the comments saying, they playing violins for me like song dance. Dang. Y'all vicious in there today, James. But I'll just say this, man. At the end of the day, I'm not making no excuses for anybody. I'm just saying it's different when you have those situations and God gives you an opportunity and you want to be different. Just being honest, we're different. Trackstarz is different. We're not your traditional show. When we've been doing this for 20 years, some people are just new to us now. We've been doing this for 19 plus 20 years. So what I'm saying is when you're progressive, sometimes people look at it like, yo, like remember when we first started, people was like, yo, where the Bible at?
Yeah.
What the Bible? Why y'all don't got a Bible on the table?
Preaching?
Why y'all not preaching? Eventually we started. It sounded like we preaching now, but at the same time, it's like we just knew what God put on our hearts to do, and we knew we wanted people to know about Jesus. You know what I'm saying? And we're not giving nobody no pass. We're just saying, being honest. It's like it's hard being a trailblazer and doing it in the name of Jesus, and not saying we're doing anything wrong because we're not. But it's just that's the thing. People don't have that grace for other people.
You can empathize with them.
Yeah.
Look, there are Christians in churches who still think that you can't do hip hop for Christ.
Yeah.
Like legit.
And some
you know
people
what
in
I'm
the
saying?
comments.
Like exactly. They're like, because look, if it's not, I don't like the way you move, or I don't like the way you dress us, I don't like your tone, I don't like your lyrics, I don't like the bass, I don't like the 808, I don't like the drum kit, like all of that sin. You know what I mean? And it's just like, you know what I mean? Like, we got to have a conversation. The other thing is, I want to raise a question if we have a minute to talk about it. I think someone said earlier that Kirk was a minister of the gospel. I'm wondering if maybe just that thought in itself is symptomatic of an issue that needs to be corrected. In other words, why do we view artists like as pastors? You know what I mean? Like, look, biblically speaking, there are two offices. Pastor, which elder, overseer, bishop, pastor, they're all the same thing, right? Shepherd and deacon. So it's like, why do we want artists to preach? Like, I'm not a pastor. You know what I mean? Like, I'm legit. I'm an artist. I'm trying to take part of the world, art, and I'm just trying to bring it back into, alignment with God. I'm basically like tending the garden. You know what I mean?
You call
like
yourself a missionary?
I would call myself an artist in the sense of, look,
Evangelist?
what is my work? I say this, work is my ministry, yes. But here's why. So like in Genesis 2, I believe, God says, hey, Adam, I need you to work the ground. But then in Numbers 8, that same word for work is translated as ministry when it says that the priests were in the temple ministering before the Lord. So here's the thing. Yes, it's ministry, but ministry means service. So in other words, through my art, I minister in the sense of I'm serving the world by giving them a Philippians 4:8 work product, something that's true, excellent, praiseworthy, and commendable. But we have to really define our terms here carefully. And saying that my art is my ministry, I'm saying it's my service. I'm not saying I'm holding a biblical office and you should view me on the same level as your pastor. No.
I'll say this, bro. I think for years, Christian rap, I think because people was bringing it the way they were bringing it, it kind of came off as a message.
They were pastors.
They was almost like pastors to the people
Yeah.
listening. So I think what you're dealing with is what people have been dealing with for years. It's
Right.
like, yo, I'm just an artist. I just make music. I go to the fellowship. I talk to my pastor. I have accountability. I have all this stuff. But when I get on stage, I'm an artist. I picture the gospel in different ways that the
Communicate
scriptures do
the
it.
gospel. So
Right.
this is why it matters, I think, because I don't think the warning where it says like if you lead my people astray, it's like you might as well tie a millstone to your and be cast in the sea. I think that's for anybody with influence over people. He's like if you lead my sheep astray in any kind of way.
Yeah.
So I think Kirk with his platform, a lot of people follow him. They listen to him. They may listen to what he says over what Plain
what the
says.
pastor said.
If you have that responsibility where people trust you and they look to you
course.
like they do us, like they do Kirk, like they do you.
Of course.
I think if you abuse that,
Yes.
God hates that. That's what I mean.
Agreed with you 100%, bro. The only thing I'm saying is don't listen to Kirk over your pastor in the sense of like if your pastor like knows you and it's a healthy church, man, he loves the Lord, he's been walking with you, like give him more influence in your life than Kirk. No offense to bro. Like I'm just saying like let's just be healthy in how we consume music and stuff like that and how and who we allow to have influence in us.
But I think that's why he calls us sheep. Right?
Right.
Like I hate to say this to y'all, but we are dumb sometimes, right? So that's why he doesn't yell at the sheep, he yells at the shepherd, right? So I think if you find yourself in that shepherd position, not the pastor role, I'm talking about you, people follow you around.
That's right.
He's gonna yell at you first.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what it means. It's like he yelled at Adam first.
Yeah.
Like the person that's responsible for the people gets yelled at first because sheep have limited responsibility in this because they're dumb animals.
Facts.
For the most part. They follow you around. They do whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? So yes, the message to the sheep, stop being so dumb. But the message to the shepherd, you know better.
Right.
Yeah.
100%.
I think Kirk
You know
ordained,
better.
though.
The only thing is, look, don't expect every song of mine to be a systematic theology,
Yeah,
a
of
sermon.
course,
Don't hold me to the same standard. Like, look, bro, you dropped the word exegesis. Love that word. Like, when I go to church, I want my pastor to preach expository preaching. Like, go line by line, go through the text, handle it rightly. But that doesn't mean that, okay, he has influence and I have influence. Therefore, you draw an equal sign and say, my rap songs have to be, everything is a systematic theology, everything is a sermon. No.
You shouldn't be going to you for that.
I believe in artistic freedom. That said, on the whole, my music points to God. But I'm going to do that by stepping into a variety of life experiences. So I'll talk about, SA, right? Sexual assault. I'll talk about domestic violence. I'll talk about getting a promotion. I'll talk about graduating from college, getting a job, life achievements. I'll talk about parenting. I'll talk about all of it. You know what I mean? Like I'll step into the full human experience, incarnating like Jesus did. You know what I mean? Don't limit me to a sermon, but on the whole, I believe that what I'm saying is going to be consistent with and true to God's word.
But I think also, and we got to go. I believe in the Psalms, like how David the Psalms and Proverbs. When you read Proverbs, there's wisdom in those Proverbs. Everything in Proverbs wasn't saying Jesus is Lord, Jesus is Lord. It was just the biblical wisdom of God, you know, giving His wisdom to people.
Yes.
So I think your testimony, your approach, whatever you write about, rap about, sing about, is through God singing something like, "Oh, I can see His glory." I can see His glory, talking about celebrating.
Yes,
I can see
100%.
His glory in love. I can see His glory in different things that you say.
The full range of human experience.
Yes.
But you're still, I would say this though, you're still ministering to people. Though.
Yeah, I'm serving them. I like that. I like to use that word.
Yeah.
I'm serving them.
You're evangelizing.
Yeah.
So
in a
the
sense.
the reason why I talk about that because it's been a lot of conflict in the Christian hip hop space about that. And like Sean was saying earlier, whatever the title is,
Right.
if you have thousands and hundreds of thousands of people following what you're doing, and you're doing this for Christ, whether you want that title or not,
You gonna
don't be out there being heretical. Don't be, endorsing a sinful lifestyle.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm totally cool with artistic freedom within that context of, look, I look at it as Philippians 4:8. If I'm putting something out that's true, excellent, praiseworthy, it's totally cool, like you said, to take a psalm approach, and I could definitely get into the full range, the variety of life experience. You know what I mean? So that's all I'm getting at, you know? And actually, I wrote a song about this, not a plug, but Christian rap, it is a plug. It is a Christian rapper, my man. Christian rapper, man, the second track on my debut album where I outline legit, like my philosophy and theology of art. Like, what do I mean when I call myself a Christian rapper, and what do I don't mean? And
That's dope. That's dope. Yeah. So the lesson to the sheep though is like what he said. There's an office of overseer.
Facts.
Yes.
And that person has very specific instructions on what qualifies them or not. So first, double check your pastor just in case, and then just realize that person has the responsibility for you. So don't be chasing after these artists. Don't be chasing after these other people. They have no responsibilities to tell you anything of substance. The actual job is for the overseer of your church.
100%.
So that is important.
the artist doesn't know you, and you don't know the artist, bro.
Exactly.
You think you do.
Exactly. All right, so we are out of time for topics. So introduce yourself one more time. Tell them how to support you. You got music coming out, I know.
Yeah, my name is Deshaun Williams, also known as The Resilient Rapper. Y'all can follow me on Instagram at The Resilient Rapper. And we got Cries from the Church Choir coming to you real soon.
Awesome.
Dope. I'm 1541. It means Christian. You guys could check it out. But you can find me at 1541rap.com. It's got all of my social, all of my streaming platforms. I've only been doing this for about 2 months. I dropped my debut record / release, which was a full-length 8-track album on Thanksgiving 2024. Prior to that, I did not exist to the entire world. Check it out. It's called Dear Church and World. 8 tracks. It's a unified, consistent story, start to finish, storytelling, lyricism, all that stuff. Check it out. And I got more coming in Q1. So,
All right, go to patreon.com/Trackstarz Universe if you want to continue on with us. We're about to go switch over to the Line for Line channel if you want to do that.
Real quick, check out my interview I got with Jafire Life. He's actually he's in the chat
up,
right
man?
now. We got like
Jafire
2
Life.
joints. He's trying to come down to Atlanta to probably have that same conversation you just had.
yeah.
But yeah, it's a great interview this week. And I'm dropping a Kendrick Lamar expose. I'm joking. But I am doing something because we do something on the channel.
The one you did was awesome, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate
The one
that.
on politics
Yeah,
was
so
really
God been you moving. Same thing with my wife. We doing everything on the Kingdom Ox channel. Go subscribe.
So we
to
got a
that.
lot of people watching
Yep.
live right now. If you have not subscribed, double check because you may think you are, but you're not. Subscribe right now. And also like the video if you can on the way out. God is doing something crazy. Got over 600 people in here.
Yeah,
right
we
now.
never had that.
So we had 700 at one
It
point.
was 700. It's crazy. So thank you guys. If you're new to our show, like Jeremiah said, we've been doing this for 19 years in obscurity. So, but we tried our best to be faithful no matter what. So this
Intent.
is we've been doing this for a while. So I just want you to know that we love you guys. We appreciate you. Please take time to see what we're about. Join us. Come in deeper with us. Subscribe to us so you can see what we're trying to do. We're trying our best to. our goal is to reach people who have kingdom influence, right? Whether you're an artist, producer,
Author.
boss,
Yeah.
in the workplace, however you are, there's things that you're going to encounter that you need to be prepared for. And we don't want people going out as ministers into all these different workspaces and not be prepared, where you have like a traditional faith, but you don't have a real faith. So going deeper with us, we're trying to challenge every notion. We don't always agree in the room. The point we're trying to show you, just like we did with Marcus, is we can have these disagreements and work it out because we're hopefully all trying to find the truth. Amen. We're trying to go into the Bible and find out what it is. We're not just trying to defend our point of view. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you're down with that and you can have conversations without getting belligerent and arguing and crazy, then you are
Welcome
down
to
with
the
what
family.
we're doing. Yeah, exactly. That's what we're trying to teach people. So